Hey guys, it's hump day. Like that matters. When you get old, you're not doing much of humping anymore. No, just kidding. Anyways, so I want to share a little story about something that I've had experienced. Um, I'm not sure if anybody out there has ever heard of Akashic Records. I have never really dug deep into that because I just kind of let my own spiritual stuff take me where I need to go, right? So, sorry, I got allergies. It's this damn corn. I'm allergic to corn pollen, and I'm like, great, I live in Indiana. Okay, my whole backyard is corn. Anyways, so I don't meditate often at all. Not like I probably should. Matter of fact, I was feeling really lost. Not lost, I won't say lost. Had a very overwhelming day, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to do a little meditation. See if that helps me come out of this funk. So I come out on my deck, and it was in the evening, and I put my earbuds in, and it's a guided meditation. Now, this meditation is not your average meditation. Some people will, as you're in this state, will talk you all the way through the meditation. Not this kind that I do with Lisa Williams. So the one I do will like get you into that relaxed state, and then, you know, she stops talking and lets you proceed with your meditation. So, excuse me, I know I'm smoking, I shouldn't be, but listen. It's Tractor Engine Show Week, and I could probably smoke a pack of cigarettes today. Anyways, so I decided to do this meditation, and it was like evidently the Akashic Records meditation. I'm not sure. You know, I was kind of like, oh, let's see what this does. So I want you to think about something here. This is just nuts. Me, the reason is why I don't do meditation often is mostly because after you come out of that state, I try to write everything down that was in that meditation because it always has meaning for some reason. And like I said, I don't meditate hardly that often at all. Maybe once or twice every 6 months, which I should be faithful doing at least once a week. But anyways, so in this meditation was the weirdest shit. And that's all I can say about it. It was crazy. I knew there was meanings behind the things I was seeing. I knew it meant something. I just did not know at the time what all this meant. So I'm in my meditation, and she stops talking when she says, okay, open the door to, you know, this place or whatever. And then she stops talking. So I come to these two big doors, or wooden, heavy, like old doors with these long, like brass handles. And I open the doors, and I enter this room that's got really huge ceilings. And there's a long rectangle table with seats, and it's wood. It's old stuff. Like I almost felt like I was in, like, I don't know, like a building from way back. I don't know. Odd, I know. So as I'm looking around the room, I'm seeing these bookshelves that are recessed into the wall, but they're made out of wood. You know what I mean? Like the cement or whatever they used to make the building, they recessed these shelves with, and there was books and books and books and books. And these books weren't like normal books at a library. They were just weird books. And there are books everywhere and everywhere. And I'm looking, and I remember getting the sense to look up. So I looked up, and there was this giant hole in the ceiling. And it was like daylight. You could see the light shining down in, okay? And then it turned to night, and I could see certain stars. And I could see these trees kind of over, shadows of the trees like overhanging. And there was like 5 groups of like trees, okay? And they said that is your tree of lives, 5 of them. So I'm like, whoa, that's weird. That's wild. Whatever. Okay. So I'm thinking 5 trees of life mean 5 maybe reincarnations. I'm not sure. I still don't have that shit figured out. So anyways, I'm like, and then they show me a certain star constellation. I did not know this one. I ended up drawing it because I don't know this constellation. I'm not real good with constellations. I don't know what they look like, even though I like to look at the stars. So they show me this weird, like, I don't even know. It's like a weird Y-shaped constellation. I have no clue. I haven't even checked into that part yet, because when I get to tell you the crazy stuff, what I have checked into, you're probably gonna sit down on your couch and think, like, what the hell? Okay. So during this meditation, I see this long, it's gonna be backwards, table like this, okay? When I walk in, I see who I call my mother spirit guide sitting at the head of the table. And of course she's dressed for her era, from wherever time she came from, because I've seen her like three or four times now. I feel her. But she has like almost like a fur outfit on, and she carries this like staff like thing that has things dangling from it. And sometimes I see her with an animal, almost like a wolfish looking kind of thing. But anyways, so she's sitting at the head of the table. I always call her my mother spirit guide, I guess. I mean, that's just what I've always called her. So off to the left, not only did, I've got to get back to that circle. Okay, so I see that open space up there, a hole, no glass in it. It's just open. So I'm like, this is weird. Like, it would rain in here, the things that go through your mind when you come out of it, like, that would be raining in there. What the hell? But anyways, you see this thing. They show me this specific pattern of stars. So I'm like, okay. So I'm trying, I got to remember all this from when I come out of my meditation so I can write it down, which I did. And I just even tried to show the little hole that was in the ceiling and the trees that were hanging over. But anyways, so the crazy thing is, you guys are going to think I'm nuts, but I've got to tell it. I've just got to share this because I feel like I'm supposed to. So anyways, I see that. But sitting beside my mother spirit guide at the table is this woman named Magdalena. I guess that's her name, Magdalena or Magdalena, Lena, whatever is her name. She is dressed different. She has like this maroon colored silk robe on that has the hood, and it's got like gold embroidery around the edge, kind of like decoration. And she's got this old-fashioned candle in her hand that has like the thumb hole where you must have carried it way back in the day or something. So she leads me over to this shelf, okay? So look, I drew a picture of this. She leads me over to this shelf right here, okay? And she's telling me telepathically, not to my face, now her mouth ain't moving, like I just know, because she's telling me this stuff, saying this is your life, or your lives, whatever, on these shelves right here. I'm like, okay. So when I turn back around and we start walking back to the table, she lays a book out, and one of them books off the shelf and said, this is your life right now. I'm like, okay. She has me look down the table. And as I look down the table, I am seeing my family, my friends in each seat, and ancestors I never even met, sitting at these seats, and they all have a book in front of them and it's opened. And she says to me, telepathically, because she's not moving her mouth, it's wild, but she says, those are their books, and this is your book. And in their books says how you're connected, like solely and in real life, how you're connected. So I'm looking, and I'm trying to remember everybody's seating pattern for when I wake up, So I even wrote some of them down. I can't remember, I can only remember the first few. So I have them named. Who was sitting here? Who was sitting there, there. I have their names because that's the only ones I could remember. Because some of the people down there I didn't recognize. I don't know who they were. So I'm like, okay, Okay, so then they show me this vision. And it's me on a camel, on a beach, riding on a camel with some guy I don't know. And he's from some other place because he is not white like me. And he's on a camel. We're on a beach and the water is like turquoise. Or it's clear when the sun's shining. You can see through it a little bit. And almost gave you that Caribbean kind of feel. But he's pointing across the water and he's showing me this island that you can see from the beach that's in the water. And it's a bunch of lush greenery and this and that. And he's pointing to that island for some reason. Now, whether that island still exists, I don't know. It might be underwater now. So I'm thinking, I'm paying attention to his clothes because I'm like, I have never seen this outfit, this type of clothes before. Who is this guy and where is he from? In my head, I'm thinking this. But he had something to show me, and it was that island for some reason. So I remember this in my head. Then he shows me, and see, I even drew a little picture of us on camels. Because see, when I came out, I'm like, I got to remember this. There's reasons behind this. So this guy is dressed in this weird garb that kind of looks like this. I know it's crazy. He has this weird, there's no bill on this hat, but there is like gold embroidered stuff, and it's all white. His clothes are all white. He has this weird sash on. He's got this gold embroidered stuff. His sash is like got gold embroidery on it. His pants. I mean, it's crazy, and it's all white. Never seen this kind of outfit before in my life, but I don't know everything, you know, so then after he shows me this island and how it's not so far from the beach, he points to this. Then he, all of a sudden, I'm pointed to this weird rock formation. You see this? Okay, I'm not a very good drawer, so this is what I want to show you guys. Okay, so this rock formation right here had this weird opening, like hole in it. Like looked like somebody threw a giant boulder through this rock formation and it made a giant hole. Okay, so I'm seeing this and I'm trying to draw it when I come out of it because it's so weird. And I'm seeing it from a side profile where the hole would be on the right, or would be on the right. So that's how I seen it, or in the front. Like I kind of seen both ways. So I drew what stuck to my mind. So I'm like, okay, it looks like a giant crater went through there, or a giant meteor or something busted through this rock and left like a hollow hole. I mean, it's weird. So I'm seeing that. I also see like a volcano. I mean, just weird shit. Okay. So I'm seeing all this stuff, and I'm trying to remember it for when I come to, because I want to write this all down, and I know I'm missing things. But the crazy thing is, after I'm shown these things, these vivid things, this person in this outfit, the camels on the beach, this big rock formation with a hole in it, I'm taken back to that room with the table. And my mother God is like, do you want to see your soul contract? I'm like, what in the hell is that? You know? So there's this old document pulled out in front of me, and it's old and it's kind of jagged and stuff, and I'm reading it. I literally start reading it. I'm gonna see my hand. She shows me this contract and says, I am a wanderer and a knowledge seeker for humanity, that I need to waken more. I asked if I could add to my contract. She said yes. So I added a stronger connection to my ancestors, my family, my guides, my angels, and the divine God. So in this process, when I tell her this, she grabs something maroonish, reddish colored candle, dumps it on the bottom of this contract looking thing, and has me put my thumbprint in on it. And I'm like, okay. So I put my thumbprint on there, and that's like how I signed it. Then when they were telling me it was time for me to go, I started walking towards some big double wooden doors again. And I turned around because in my head, I'm like, oh, I need to tell everybody I love them and I miss them. So as I turn around, everybody stands up and says, we love and miss you too. Not mouths moving. They just are telling me that telepathically. I know this shit sounds so bizarre and crazy, but guys, there's a reason I'm telling you this. So they scoot out, and all my family and ancestors and friends stand up that have passed away, and they're like, we love you too, and we miss you. But we're right here. We're always right here. You can get a hold of us anytime you need help. So I go to grab the doors, and I notice that the door handles are long, and they're like brassy or something, but there is these weird crystals on top sitting that are like polished a certain way. I'm assuming they were quartz, but I don't know. Open up the door, and I'm back into, coming out of my meditation. It was really wild. So I wrote all this shit down, right? I'm going to post something after this video that's going to shock the shit out of you. Well, maybe not you guys, because you didn't see my vision. But I found this stuff that I'm talking about. It took me a couple of days to realize, okay, first I started with the outfit my ancestor had on, or my mother spirit guide, like trying to look at this shit, right? I decided the easiest thing to find would be this outfit right here. And I found it. and you're gonna shit where I found it. It was in Morocco, and they specifically wear the white pattern with the gold embroidery for spiritual ceremonies. I have no clue about that stuff. I've never even been to Morocco or knew where it was. They also ride camels. And they'll even do a tour guide. I looked this up. They'll even do a tour guide where you can ride a camel on the beach. Okay? So then I'm thinking, wait a minute. If I know where this person is located or this kind of garb is located, I need to find this rock formation. This is what gave me chills. So I searched for odd rock formations in Morocco that looks like a hole is through the rock formation, and instantly a picture of right here pops up in Morocco, in a very spiritual village in the middle of nowhere. An ancient village with like a tribe of people. It's very small. It's a little village. It's got a name, and that rock formation is there. Come to find out, these people in that location of that valley, they use crystals and they use spiritual things and connect to spirits and the divine. So tell me that ain't it. I can't make this stuff up. I'm not joking. It floored me. So I tried to dig a little more into this town, and I found where a guy was over in Morocco visiting, and he took a turn and ended up in this village, and he said, I'm going to go back there again someday. It's really cool. People are very spiritual there, blah, blah, blah. They said they never get visitors there because they're so off the beaten path. And this is some of the way they dress. I'll have to type in the town or the village or whatever just to tell you guys. So that's all crazy crap. So then I do some digging about this giant hole that I saw in the ceiling. I'm like, what is this? What is this giant hole in the ceiling? And why isn't there no glass? I can see the moon. I can see the stars. I can see trees overhang, you know. So I talked to this old guy that I know who reads constantly. And I'm telling him about this. And he's like, Charity, I really feel like you're talking about the Akashic Records. I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah. So he explains to me some of it. And I told him about the big hole. And he says, that's called an oculus. I'm like, what? He's like, yes, that's called an oculus. He said, look it up. Because he don't have Google. He don't have none of that. He only reads from the libraries. He says, look it up. He says, I'm pretty sure it's called an oculus. And it's something that they used in ancient times to shed light into a room. When the sun's up, the sun shines down at this pattern to light up a room. He says, you were in an ancient building. I'm like, you're full of crap. You know, I'm thinking, I looked it up. He wasn't lying. He is not lying. They used oculuses in ceilings to shed light because they didn't have electricity. So that's just crazy crap. And I can't make it up. And I know people are probably going to think I'm crazy, but you won't think I'm crazy when I post these pictures of what I found to relate to exactly the things I've seen. Now, I haven't looked up the star system yet because I haven't had time, but I'm going to look up the star system. I sent it to a friend. I said, do you know this star system? They said, it looks like Taurus, by the way. And I'm like, Taurus? Well, I'm not no Taurus. So there must be meaning behind the bull. So I have to look and see what that means. Oh, also, in my little vision, I saw this white dove in that room flapping, not flying. It was just up in the air flapping its wings, and it was really bright white dove. Then I saw like a millipede or a centipede, and I'm like, okay, now I always know that when I see symbols like that, they mean something in the real world. So I looked up what a flapping dove was. So the flapping dove means divine God. That's what the flapping dove means. Not the flying dove, the flapping dove. So the centipede means, is a spiritual meaning, means like luck and energy. So I'm like, okay, strange. And why would I see a millipede or centipede? Because I hate those things. I do not even like looking at them. When you go to a zoo, Oh. I know they have a purpose, and that's fine, but I do not like bugs. So I will steer clear of the millipedes or centipedes. But seeing that in my vision, I'm like, whoa, and the collar of the legs were, I mean, it was like so clear. So I just want to share that with you because I am so curious now about Akashic Records. And I am so dumbfounded to how I seen this certain garb this guy had on, that it relates to a certain country. And in that country, I found that rock formation I drew. And I have showed a couple people this. And they were like, what? Wow. Because they couldn't believe it. When I showed them what I found online by Googling it and finding this rock formation and the way I drew the picture, they're like, holy shit. Sorry, I don't mean to put holy and shit together, but when I'm in shock, I'm holy shitting it, okay? So now I feel like I need to dig more into this Akashic Record stuff and find out exactly what the Akashic Records are, what their purpose is, who's usually there if you go into a meditation about this, because I don't know much about the Akashic Records. The only part I do know is that supposedly in the Akashic Records is everybody's information. Like what your soul contract would be, I guess, and like your lives or your life or whatever. So supposedly that's all there, and maybe what your purpose is in life. So I am like so floored because of the things I found, and was able to actually acknowledge that the stuff I seen exists, and I've never had any information related to it before. I have not meditated since that day. Not because I want to find out what all this information is first before I try to go back in and find something else. I'm just telling you guys, we as people have special, I'm not going to say abilities or gifts even. I'm going to say natural talent. It was given to us through our DNA, through our blood, from our ancestors. You know, think about the times when people did not have shoes and they walked this earth barefooted for miles and miles. They were grounded and connected to earth and Mother Nature and everything like that because that's all they had. And that was spectacular to them. Now we got all this stupid bullshit, iPhones, TVs, whatever, cell phones, all that crap. But nature is very important. So I feel like some stuff that our ancestors way back in the day knew, we've lost track of because it's not been passed down and down and down and down, all because of new technologies, you know, coming, whether it was the invention of a car or the invention of gas-powered stuff. So we move away from our natural instincts. And so I feel like we all have some form of ability, or I hate using that word, gift, whatever, but it's a natural instinct, technically, I feel like, that we were born with, to connect to our higher self or to connect to people who have passed. It's a form of energy that we always have a connection with. Some don't ever find that. Some do find that. Some realize, oh, I can do this, you know, and get back to it. So that's all I feel kind of like right now. And I think the Akashic Records is a place, yes, that maybe we go spiritually to find out information about ourselves. So I'm going to do some digging. I know you guys are on my crazy train right now, but listen, there is no way I would have ever in my life seen certain things I've never been exposed to, knew about. How I didn't even know where Morocco was. I need to probably take geography class. But anyways, yeah. So, and not only that is, when I did a past life regression a long time ago, a year or so ago, listen, I brought up a weird word. I said, like, I wasn't sure how it was spelled, but I kept saying Mahat, and there might have been more to that. I don't remember. I kept cutting it off. In my when I listened to the recording, I kept saying something about Mahat. Well, then the other day I thought, I'm going to look up what this word means. So what I was saying and pronouncing while I was under hypnotherapy was what a Mahat is, or Mahat, whatever, is a sage. meaning like a shaman or a sage. But it also has to do with humanitarianism, which I think is so weird that all this stuff like ties in to the way I kind of believe, and ties into like what I feel like my purpose is to help people spiritually. And I don't know. It's crazy. I'm just dumbfounded by it all. But I wanted to share it with you guys. Jump on my crazy train. If I could only video what I saw in my head, you guys would crap your pants. So vivid, so detailed, things like that. So I wish I could. But I'm going to post the pictures. I will take a picture of my drawing. I will post it. I will take a picture of the man in his uniform and post it. And then I will show the pictures beside what I found. So you guys understand, I might not be as crazy as you all think. Anyways, I just want to say happy hump day. I want to share this crazy story with you all because I feel like there's some kind of meaning to it. So we'll see. We'll see where this leads. Believe, 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 and always believe in yourself. Love you guys. Happy hump day.